as folks straggle in. All right. I'd like to reconvene Township Committee meeting of the Township of East Amwell. Will everyone stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The announcements are on the agenda. Working?
Yep.
All right. All right. What do we got here? Friday night in the park, dumpster service. Municipal buildings close on September 7th for Labor Day. And electronics cleanup day is on August 29th at the county complex.
Move your mic closer to you.
Can't push your mic.
Sorry, just,
Can you hear me now okay?
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Better?
Mhm.
All right. This meeting is now open to the public
For agenda items.
for agenda items only. I'm sorry. This meeting is now open to the public for agenda items only. Come on up.
Francis Gavigan, working on 32 years here. You know my opinion of everything that you've got on the agenda, but I have a couple questions. I don't know if you're gonna open it to the public or just run through your stuff. But in light of what we're losing, I bought this and I'm giving it out to my friends with horse barns. It's a trauma kit. So when you get kicked in the head by a horse or kicked in the gut and an artery's cut, which happens, you've got the toys that can maybe save your life or somebody else's. And I think that all of this is in terms, you know, for a sucking chest wound, all of this stuff. They're not that expensive. But it has a first aid bag, an Israeli bandage, a tourniquet, SAM splint, emergency survival blanket, chest seal, gauze pad, compressed gauze, trauma shears, non-adherent sterile pads, triangular bandage, burn dressings, medical tape, alcohol prep pads, nitrile gloves, permanent marker tweezers. So a Band-Aid or a first aid kit isn't gonna help you in farm country if you're working on equipment and a tractor gouges your leg and somebody doesn't know where the farm is. So I found this. It's highly recommended by the horse community because there are people who have been kicked and hurt and cut arteries, and only having something like this and a proper tourniquet, not a Band-Aid, saved their life and allowed them to get to help. I think you're going to do what you're going to do, and I've said this before, but what I would ask is that you consider allowing the rescue squad that's still going to continue because they're supported by West Amwell and by Delaware Township to operate, if nothing else, as a backup on the weekends when they are, so that people can get help and hopefully make it to a hospital, and to be able to operate within the township and fundraise, not as your primary, because the original bid that was done when you refused these 6 months ago from Lambertville was $125,000. Now they baited a hook and they're going to do it for 60. Do you have any kind of contractual obligations or guarantee that they're not going to go back to the 125? They operate and cover a massive area. I think they also operate in West Amwell, so this would not be a unique situation to let the squad who resides here and owns their building and do things continue while you have your grand experiment and see how it goes and make it to where they at least have a shot at supporting. And Lambertville might like or need the support, or certainly the voters and the taxpayers in Lambertville or Raritan, who will be providing mutual aid and backup to them when they can't get here because they're in New Hope or something like that. At least if there are people that are functioning and are here and are local and are beloved by the community, allow them to function and operate, and anybody who wants to have more information on this first hour, because you got 60 minutes to save somebody's life if you're lucky. The golden hour is what they call it. Anybody wants to look at this? I have it and I can connect it. I've only bought 5 of them and I've given 2 away so far. But the life you save may be your own. And I think, because everybody's going to be looking at the response times and who covers and all of this stuff, at least let them operate and fundraise in East Amwell rather than take something that might be, well, I don't like you or whomever. Let them be supported by the community and hang on and provide a service, because somebody's going to die and it's going to land on your lap, Mike. You don't believe it? Or if it's all about safety and it's all about people and saving lives and response times, there's no harm, no foul for letting these people do the service, especially if they can't answer the call. And it takes a whole lot longer to get somewhere in the Amwell Valley that you don't know from Lambertville than it does from a half mile down this street. So please consider letting them continue to be part of the community while we try to find other funding opportunities before you come back. Do you have any answer as to whether or not you've got any kind of financial guarantee?
You're at your it says you're at your 5-minute mark.
Okay, well, man, I'm gonna bring a timer to these damn things. I don't think I'll be the only person saying that.
Anyone else for agenda items? Come on up.
You go, girl. Show 'em a new one.
Andrea Sonette, East Amwell resident.
Thank you.
Long ago Township committee member. I want to talk about something that's on the agenda and something that I wish was on the agenda. So what is on the agenda is that you are in resolution to hire a new zoning officer. And what you also have on the agenda is the Department of Public Works monthly report and construction reports. So what I'm concerned about is all the years 8 years I was on the Township committee, we had most of the time our zoning officer was Devil, or I forget who they all were. But they filed a report every month. I still have in my file cabinet some copies of them. And now evidently that no longer happens. We do not get reports from the zoning officer, which I think is really disappointing. And according to your own code, section 2426, administrative duties under the description of the zoning officer job says, I will quote, file a monthly report of his or her activities, including complaints and cases processed by him or her, and the disposition thereof.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Oh dear. Well, I'd like it to be recorded, but I guess it won't be.
I still
Thank you.
We'll hear it.
There you go.
Okay.
We can always hear the.
All right, because I really am passionate about this and the disposition of the zoning officer's cases with the East Amwell Mayor and East Amwell Township Committee. So I've gone back and looked through the last 3 years of zoning officer reports and so forth and agendas and whatever. And this administrative reports thing. And I see the money, which is, I've never figured it out. I'm not talking about the money. But I really, really think with the new zoning officer back to our agenda, I really hope you will insist on monthly reports. I really do. And I will be looking into that. I don't understand any reason why at some point in the last 21 years, somebody on the township committee decided not to do that anymore. And I think the zoning officer should be accountable to us. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
That's fair. Does she not give a report?
I've never gotten
Okay.
an activity, just
Right.
a monthly financial report.
Yeah, so something like Jason gives, zoning doesn't necessarily give that right now.
No.
Okay, that's fair. We'll see what we can get. I mean, I know what goes on because I talked to her, but it's fair that what you're asking for, and I think if that's part of the job description, then I think that's a fair thing to ask for. I think that's not hard to, especially having somebody new start. So, okay. Anybody else for items on the agenda?
So I'm Janice Grover, 101 Bound Station Road, and a member of the Stanwell Rescue Squad. We've lived in the township for 40 years, actually in a home that my husband's family built over 200 years ago. So I know that I can't change your mind about the decisions you're going to make, but I did want to express my thoughts about the privilege that it has been to be a member of the rescue squad, to be welcomed into people's homes, to be trusted, whether you were driving through town and fell off a bicycle or visited someone that I had known for many years. Through the rescue squad and all volunteer organizations, it definitely changed my life and gave an opportunity for so many young people who today are firemen, policemen, physicians, attorneys. I mean, one of the things which the rescue squad did, in addition to helping people, was to provide an opportunity for us to serve in our community. I've been voting in this community for 40 years. I wouldn't be married for almost 50 years if it wasn't for the rescue squad coming to our house when my husband was ill, who's there now. And I would ask you to please take under consideration as you make these decisions. You're elected officials. You are elected to do what's best for our community. This particular decision I don't agree with, but while you serve the remainder of your terms, please keep in mind that there's more to this community than simply getting on an ambulance, driving to the scene of an accident. So I appreciate the opportunity the township did give us and give me personally to serve. And it's been an honor and a privilege to be part of this organization. So that was something I thought was important. And I asked the members of our squad and said I'd come and make that statement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for serving.
My name's Dr. Gary Grover. I'm Janice's husband, live on Bound Station Road. My family goes back in this area in New Jersey over 300 years. I've worked in drug discovery. Half of this committee is probably on the drug I worked on as I look at the age and demographic. Taught at Robert Wood Johnson Rutgers Medical School for 40 years. And I have to say, Margaret Chase, one of the people from the rescue squad I'm privileged to know, saved my life. I passed out. My wife wasn't home. If it was not for the rescue squad, I wouldn't be here. And because of people like Margaret, others on the squad, I still teach for free. I ask nothing in return. I think you're making a mistake. And this is a pretty tight-knit community. I don't know any of you. Honestly, I've never spoken to this committee before. But it seems like it's personal to me. I don't get it. I think you're making a mistake. I think people like Margaret would be ashamed of you. Thank you.
Anyone else for items on the agenda? Seeing there are no further comments, I'd like to close the meeting to the public without objection. Item number 9, I need a motion to approve executive and regular minutes
Oh,
for,
I'm sorry, Mike, be moving on.
yes.
So I just want to say, I appreciate the comment from the woman who served, and service is important. With regard to the last gentleman's comment, I just wanted to say, since he hasn't been here before, that nothing in our decision-making process is personal. You can't hear? Nothing in our decision-making process is personal. Everything that we are doing is very specifically and strongly focused on doing what's the best for the community. And that's why over the many meetings that we've had, you see the factors that we consider are the legitimate factors to consider when trying to make sure that we have service for our residents so that no one gets hurt. It's such a critical thing to have emergency services. And so it truly are the facts of all those categories, you know, making sure that service is there, that it's reliable, that the entity can remain in business, that the entity can handle all the calls, to make sure that there aren't going to be problems so that when a resident is sick or needs emergency services or may die, that we have the most professional, most able squad able to do that. And so as we look at this and evaluate where we are and evaluate our efforts over the past many years now to try to give a chance to our local squad, we are absolutely not looking personally like it's some personal issue that we have to decide it one way or another. The only way that's personal is that I regard it, and I know the rest of the Township Committee members think of it as it's very personal to anybody who makes a call. It's personal because you need someone to show up. And that's the motivating factor, but it's nothing as a personal opinion or anything else from anybody on the Township Committee. So I just want to make sure everyone's knows where we're coming from. Thanks, Mike.
I was going to save any comments until we talked about the ordinance, but
Well, I just wanted to timely address when
No, I
folks are
appreciate that.
making comments.
there's so many things have been said on this topic for the last 4 years. Anybody that's been tuned in and paying attention, it's not personal. You have to remember how we got here. We meaning the town. This was not on anybody's radar when I got elected to deal with the Emerald Valley Rescue Squad. It started with a letter from Flemington asking for help because they were being maybe, I don't want to say taken advantage of, but there was no plan in place to get Amwell Valley up to a meaningful number of calls. So our partners, Flemington, Lambertville, and Hopewell, and others, were handling a significant number of our calls. That system is no longer sustainable to our partners. A lot of folks want to come here and go online and criticize me personally, criticize the Township Committee, but nobody's come here to offer us a valid solution to fix this problem, except the committee. Nobody has come here to tell us a way forward. Amwell Valley asked for money. That's not a way to answer the calls. It's not a matter of money. Everybody knows it's not a matter of money. I think it's striking that the leadership of Amwell Valley is not here tonight. I think that speaks volumes, that they send a member to read a statement. I think that says volumes. I think that this is disappointing that a member of the community wants to come here and tell me that if somebody dies, it's on me. That's probably the most ridiculous, ignorant thing I've heard. And I was in law enforcement for 30 years.
I've got you on videotape, Mike. It is
Okay,
personal.
no,
Okay. So that is not accurate. It's never been about the money. It's been about getting an ambulance out the door to answer the call. In fact, the same ambulance has been serving this town for decades. They've been handling 80 to 90% of our calls for months. I don't see a problem with the response time. All right. If we factored in the response time when Amwell Valley comes 3 days a week and the dozens and dozens of other calls they miss, that's days their response time is. So let's not play games with the response time. That's not fair. These folks are coming, and folks from the Amwell Valley want to attack the squad that's been helping them for years now. That's unfair. That's unfair. Whether it's a direct member or a proxy of the rescue squad, that's unfair. That is not fair when they're coming to help us. And this is the only solution that I have seen that's doable. If somebody can offer a solution, they would have already offered it. We've gone over every possible scenario that I've heard of, and I've yet to hear one that is sustainable that we can work with. When folks come here and say that we're putting Amwell Valley out of business, I'm not putting Amwell Valley out of business. We're signing over, potentially, if we vote on this ordinance, to have Lambertville be our primary rescue squad. If Lambertville wants to enter in a mutual aid agreement with Amwell Valley, Lambertville can do that. We don't do that. I don't stop White House from coming here, or South County, or South Branch, they call it, nor Branchburg if they had to come down here on mutual aid. Those agreements are made by the chiefs, not the Township Committee. The only thing the Township Committee can do is decide who's our primary responder. All right. And at this point, Lambertville's offered us a deal that appears that's going to work. I don't know what next year's contract's going to look like. I don't know what anything's going to look like next year. But right now, we have nothing. And would you rather Lambertville and Flemington back away from us? Because that's not That's not going to help anybody. So there's more to talk about when we get to the ordinance, if folks want to comment about that, but there were so many things that were said in that open to the public that are simply inaccurate and grandstanding that it needed to get addressed. All right. I need a motion to approve the executive and regular minutes from the June 29, 2026 meeting with Miss Casper Bloom abstaining because you weren't here. Go ahead.
So
And Bev
Second.
and Al. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, I need a motion to approve the executive and regular minutes for the July 9th, 2026 meeting with Mr. DePiero abstaining because you weren't here.
So moved.
Al and
Second.
Bev. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, moving on. Ordinance 2617, second reading. We're on item number 12. Linda, please read by title.
An ordinance authorizing and designating the Lambertville New Hope Ambulance and Rescue Squad provide ambulance services to Township of East Amwell, County of Hunterdon, State of New Jersey.
Explanation. So this is what we've been talking about. This is what we've been talking about for 4 years. This is the second reading of the ordinance designating Lambertville New Hope Ambulance and Rescue Squad to provide ambulance service to the Township of East Amwell. I've talked about this openly with the town for years now. I've had meetings with the chiefs. I've had meetings with the leadership of Amwell Valley. I've had meetings with the new executive board to try to come up with a solution. Like I said before, 5 minutes ago, the only solution that we have in front of us that works is to contract with a functioning rescue squad that, by the way, is doing 80 to 90% of our calls already. If somebody wants to offer another solution, I'll happily entertain it. If Lambertville, this ordinance is passed, if Lambertville wants to sign a mutual aid agreement with Amwell Valley to pick up calls, that's up to Lambertville. It's not, somebody went online last night and wrote an op-ed that the Township Committee was restricting Amwell Valley from responding to calls in East Amwell. That's simply not true. It's never been said. It's not something we can even do. So that's not something this Township Committee has the authority to do, nor are we planning on doing that. If Lambertville wants to do that with them, they certainly can, okay? There's a lot of opportunities that Lambertville's offering the members of Amwell Valley. It's Amwell Valley's choice if Amwell Valley folks want to join and help out Lambertville. I feel that I've said everything there is to say about this ordinance publicly, private meetings, public meetings. It's all been the same. It's never been personal. It's simply, like Dante said, making sure an ambulance comes when somebody calls 911. We don't have that right now with Amwell Valley. I didn't see any numbers for this month, but May and June and July, I think we were down to about 10% of the calls. What would we do if Lambertville wasn't coming? That's what brings us here. The Township Committee did not bring us here. The not answering the calls is what brought us here. So that's why we're here. If anybody from the committee has anything more to add on that, I'm happy to listen and engage in it, but I feel like I've said as much as I can say on this.
I think that's the right introduction. I think we can hear from members of the public if they wish to speak, and we'll go from there.
Okay. This meeting is now open to the public for this ordinance only. Come on up, Joe.
Hi, Joe Wolfgang, 26 Zion Road.
You can just give the town. I don't think you have to give the address anymore, but that's okay.
Okay, so the I'm trying to figure out the mechanics of this, just so I understand. So New Hope Lambertville can rely or call on on Amwell Valley to provide services if they feel they need to, or if they.
So I'll let Kevin come up and answer that the way mutual aid would work if he wants when it's time.
Okay.
Because maybe I misspoke, but that's my understanding.
You mean at the end?
Yeah, at the end, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you do it? You can do it at the end, Kevin.
I'll just
Yeah.
maybe
Go ahead.
Yeah, and maybe my question is simple, maybe it's not. So I'm just trying to understand if Amwell Valley is is a backup status, or will they still have the equipment and training and infrastructure to respond if Lambertville calls on them, or are they going to kind of decay from lack of use? I'm just trying to understand how.
All valid questions. So the township owns none of that equipment, employs none of the EMTs, doesn't own the building.
Right.
The township simply can decide who's the primary ambulance service for East Amwell.
Mhm.
That's all we're doing here. What happens to Amwell Valley is up to Amwell Valley.
Uh-huh.
If they still train their members, they can train their members.
Right.
Okay. You'd mentioned about lack of training, or if they're not answering the calls now, they're not getting much experience in the field, right? Would we agree on that?
I'm thinking also, I imagine there's mandatory training.
There is.
Classes they have to do and certifications.
Yeah.
And like.
Yeah.
So they can choose to continue that or not continue that.
That
It's
would be up to them. And
Yeah.
I understand they might have other territory that they cover, small parts of another town.
So Emerald Valley might cover Stockton, for example, or other.
I don't know who they have agreements with.
Okay, right. So that's sort of they can freelance in a sense and cover, be back up to other towns.
I don't know how to answer that because
Okay.
wouldn't be fair for me to
Gotcha.
answer.
Yeah, yeah. So in my mind, Lambertville becomes sort of almost like a 911 operator that takes the call and then decides how to respond.
Yeah.
I think it's getting all screwed up, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
She
so
wants-
I'll quickly explain
Yeah,
it. So,
maybe just
Okay.
clarify, because
Yeah.
doesn't understand it. It's not like a loosey-goosey thing.
no, when you call 911, that goes to the county dispatch center.
Right.
They then have a computer screen, and that computer tells them which ambulance service, which police department or fire department is the primary agency to cover that call.
Right.
Different parts of towns might have different fire departments,
Right.
right? Maybe rescue squads cover different pieces of town. In this particular case, when this ordinance passes, if it passes, we'll send it up to the county communications center, and they will now know that when 911's calls come in East Amwell Township, they dispatch Lambertville Rescue Squad, not Amwell Valley.
Right. What about, so I live, side question, on the border with Somerset County and Mercer County.
Right.
The second last house in East Amwell. Would they potentially call Hopewell for that case?
So I think the folks that are on the ground work that do this for a living now can answer that better, but there are mutual aid agreements with surrounding towns that cover situations like yours. I don't know if Hopewell might be the primary unit to your house or not. They have, there's maps and stuff like that they map out to decide who's possibly the quickest unit to your house.
Gotcha.
So I can't answer yours because I don't have that information in front of me. The folks from Lambertville might know more about that than I do. The only difference is you're going to see an ambulance from Lambertville instead of Amwell Valley. That's the only thing East Amwell residents are going to know. And by the way, they're seeing that now 80-90% of the time.
Yeah.
So that's not going to change.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
I don't know if I answered your question, but it's
Yes.
when
I'd
you
like
call
to hear what other
911.
people-
Yeah, when you call 911, they're going to dispatch Lambertville. That's probably the best information you can leave with.
Right. Okay. I'm just geographically thinking how far Lambertville is from where I'm located. I'm assuming Lambertville would then make an executive decision whether it makes sense for them to respond or call somebody like Hopewell.
It doesn't quite work that loosely. There's already, they call it boxes. There's already boxes in place to dispatch the closest ambulance. And when we're done with this part of it, I'll let Kevin hopefully clear that up. Kevin's the chief of Lambertville. He's here tonight.
Right.
He could probably, I was a police officer. We handled just the calls in our town. It didn't matter where it was. We handled it. But
Yeah.
there's some overlap with these rescue squads and fire departments based on geographical locations.
Yeah. I've seen like different fire departments in a county when there's on Facebook when they have a call, it mentions the location based on box something.
It might. Yeah, if you see box, that's what it means. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And there's always a dispute or debate over which box is closer and things like that, but that's for maps, not for me.
All
Okay.
right. I'll look forward to hearing what Lambertville.
Hopefully, I think you can clear that up better than I can.
All right. Thanks.
Still Francis Gavigan, and I think it's pretty clear that there's nobody in this township or even possibly the county that ever would think that I was somebody's proxy, dupe, or straw horse. I think that the best solution for our town is to allow the Amwell Valley Squad to try to continue to provide and maybe then have a mutual aid, or they're a thing with the county that on the weekends when they can be staffed, that if Lambertville cannot respond because they're over there in Bucks County or somewhere else, then someone down the road could do it, especially if it was a minor non-billable. That's the thing. But I don't say something unless I have a pretty good idea or have been present for something. And I have not released what I had because of sensitivity for other people. I was here after that meeting when you got into it with others, and it came out that it was an objection to a specific individual who doesn't need to be anything. You're not going to believe a damn thing I have to say, and it's not going to change anything. I'm old, I'll die soon, but I'll tell you, when I need to go to a hospital because I need to go to a good one, I drive myself to Philadelphia. Even if I've got a cut artery, I take myself, and now I'll have a tourniquet. So we'll see how it happens and what kind of noise or blowback. But the people at home should still support the Amwell Valley Rescue Squad financially and emotionally and otherwise. And they're going to be at the 4-H fair this week. So let's see if we can maybe, or the end of the month, and let's see if we can get some kind of a petition going to encourage discussions and mutual aid. Saving a life is a shared responsibility for everybody, and there are no bad people on a rescue squad. But there are also other things that, let's explore opportunities for funding. And I'm sure you're going to cut me off, so I'll leave.
Anyone else on the ordinance? You think it's a time for Kevin to address it or later, Dante?
Probably if you're done and closed, I'll call it.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna close the discussion on the ordinance if nobody else has anything to add. All right. I need a motion to adopt, or does anybody from the committee have anything they want to add on this ordinance before we?
I just want to say, I think, I know, speaking for myself, I have been clear about what the principles are that have motivated me in examining this issue. And so I don't need to restate any of them. At the last Township Committee meeting, for example, I know I laid out a number of things that were critical points that this township should aim toward to make sure that we give important services to our residents. And, it goes back for all the other meetings, so I'm not going to add to that, but just to say, those are the principles that are guiding me in this vote, because I really want to make sure we have an ambulance that shows up reliably, responsibly, each and every time when our resident has a need.
Beth?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've gone over this multiple times, and we're at the point where Amwell Valley is only responding to 10% of the calls. We can't have the contract with an organization that's only responding to 10% of the calls. They count on Lambertville to respond to the rest. So we're bringing in Lambertville because they can respond to 100% of our calls. I know some of the reports that we've all seen said Amwell Valley is responding to 100%, but the reality is they're responding to 10 and then counting on others to respond to 90. And the mutual aid organizations said that it's not sustainable for them anymore. We need to have an organization who today can respond to 100% of the calls, and that's Lambertville.
Yeah, and Lambertville can pull out and, be a very bad business decision, in my opinion, to just have the rescue squad, here taking care of 10% of the calls. Then what? Then God forbid what happens. So it's just, again, my decision's business and it's not personal, and I got to leave it at that.
Anything?
I mean, I feel like we've discussed this ad nauseum at this point. But like everybody says, we need to have a rescue squad that's going to respond to
for the citizens of this town. And I think this is the only, as you've said before, this is the only solution we have right now. We've not been given any other solution. So I'm going to vote that way. And this is a decision by the 5 of us. It's not a decision by one person who's doing it. So that's all I have to say.
You know, I don't know, I got broad shoulders and I take on a lot of responsibility in life, and somehow I've been considered the spearhead of this situation. It's absolutely not true. This problem has been going on for decades and decades, long before I got here. What we chose to do that was different than in the past is we actually chose to address the problem. If we continue to kick this can down the road, where are we going with this? We already know Flemington's position as of June. I can't speak for Lambertville. They could speak for themselves, but we've been told it's unsustainable. They're good people. They're coming to help, but it's not working, the situation we had. So we're only simply solidifying the rescue squad that's handling 80 to 90% of our calls now, and they have been for a long time. It doesn't matter to me what's said. That's not true. I know what we're trying to accomplish here, and that's to get an ambulance to somebody's house when somebody calls 911. And that's what this has been about for me. All right. I need a motion to adopt ordinance 2617. By motion, can I get a first?
I'll move.
Dante, second?
I'll second. Oops.
Who's first? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Ms.
Need a roll call vote?
Yeah. Ms. Casper Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Enton?
Yes.
Mr. Nardi?
Yes.
Mayor Dendes?
Yes. Okay. Ordinance 2618, first reading.
Mike, do you want to,
Oh,
do you want to give?
yeah.
chance to
So,
Kevin?
all right. Now that, go ahead, Kevin, can you come up and address? Sorry. I don't know if we're going to
That's
wait to the
okay.
end.
We got a lot of things going.
So, can you, some of the issues that we talked about, coverage area that Joe had asked about, who comes to his house. I'm sure you heard so many things that were not true in that opening dialogue, and
So,
you
I'm
welcome.
gonna kind of do it.
Yes,
as
please.
Sideways, so you can
Yep.
address everybody at the same time. If not loud, then just let me know. So thank you for the committee working with us on this. First, I want to say is, because I'm a fellow volunteer as well, I've worked with probably everybody within the rescue squad at some point in time, the Antelope Valley Rescue Squad. The reality, unfortunately, is just like our squad, volunteers, there's not enough to do the job. I'm here tonight representing our rescue squad at Lambertville. We provide a service. It's a very expensive service. We have staff, so we make sure that we're staffed 24/7, 365. Does that mean we'll be 100% of every call? That's impossible, because when calls come once, you get 2, 3, 4 in a row. So there is times where we rely on our mutual aid partners. There's times when they have multiple calls, and that's just the system that we're in today. You can go anywhere and you're seeing the same thing. In the city, they stack them 10, 20 deep sometimes to do that. The bottom line, though, is we want to be able to provide the service for everybody we possibly can, and to do that professionally, that's where the cost comes into play. So the agreement that we came to with the mayor and council is that we are allowed to solicit, we're allowed to bill for our service like we do in every other municipality that we serve. As far as mutual aid, it's been a lot of discussion, nothing official, because this wasn't official. I couldn't act upon anything in East Amwell Township now that we can. I've been in communications with Brandon Fahey from the county. He's already looking for some models. I've spent time with Chief Hoffman. I will be reaching out to Hopewell, whoever their current chief officer is now, to sit down at a round table and look at those areas and how that it can best be served. Hopewell has their own things going on with paid staff and their fire commission that I can't answer to, so we'll get all that ironed out and come up with a plan. Whether we're available, one of the other squads will be dispatched if not. County does run by a box assignment, so those addresses are all spelled out in boxes. So when you call 911, geolocates that spot, they dispatch it to that spot, whatever units are lined up in that box assignment. So this gives me and our squad the authority to go in and set all these things up. By absolutely all means, I've worked with Rob, as you saw last month or a couple weeks ago, we were here. I have worked with Paul. I've reached out to Paul. He hasn't reached back to me. My intention is to sit down with the squad and see how this will all come to fruition. I don't know that. I can't say. We do run as a career department that bill, which means we run under the Department of Health in New Jersey. So we have to have 2 EMTs and we have to have the licensed ambulance and so on. Amber Valley runs under the First Aid Council, so they don't. So there are all logistics that we have to answer out. That if there's volunteers that want to continue, they're more than welcome to come continue with us. We do have volunteers. Lisa and I both volunteer. They're on the truck. My wife, my son, we all volunteer. We have others that run standbys and other assignments. So there is room. There's always room for volunteers. I can't say whose roof you'll be under. I don't know that right now. I can't speak to that. But as far as fundraising, yes, we've asked for permission to solicit the area because again, without the funds, we can't continue to staff that model. Staffing is so expensive. Everything's so expensive. We know that. The costs are just exponentially increasing all the time. So we have to be proactive because my model is sustainability. How can we stay in business for the long run? Whether we serve East Amwell for 1 year or 10 years or 20 years, the future is to be seen. The goal is not to be out here to use it as a cash cow whatsoever. It's to be able to pay staff that we can continue to provide the service. So I hope that answers some of the questions on the area. It's still kind of gray because again, we couldn't move on it until this was official. So once it's official, we'll be back. We will have an agreement with the township that'll be an annual contract. And in there, we will be providing all the facts and data you want. Anybody that needs more facts or data, please. My guys are great at facts and data, so I can provide anything you want to know as far as call volume anywhere in our municipalities.
Do you have a card?
I do, absolutely. Yeah.
Kevin, one thing, over the years when Flemington was here, of course, we know you're going to have to rely on mutual aid from time to time.
Absolutely.
Flemington talked about their handle like 99% of their calls. Do you have an idea of how many you handle of your percentage before you have to go to mutual aid?
One of the models, I tease them all the time, and he's used that as an example with these animals. Flemington can do rapid turnaround because
Right.
Hunter Medical Center is the center of their area. We don't have that luxury, so we're going to Hunter, Doylestown, Capitol Hill, Princeton, St. Mary's, wherever we're going. So we have, generally our calls are an hour and a half time you're done with transportation time. So in that time, that's where you're running the second, third calls that can bite you. Now, we do staff 2 ambulances. We've been trying to really target the high percentage of call volume, so make sure we have that at the time, and it works. And I don't want to speak out loud because I don't have that. I wasn't prepared tonight
That's
to come
fine.
speak, but I'll say maybe 4 or 5 a month we miss. I have 150 calls, 140 calls.
96% Boston.
Okay, Austin's listened to me, so 6%.
96%.
There you go.
Okay.
So 6% that we miss. And yes, do we have a big area? Absolutely. That's just the way it is between half of Delaware Township, between majority of West Amwell, obviously Lambertville. We are only second to now in Salisbury Township. That's changed a little bit, so that's not as big a draw as it once was for us. In fact, the call volume that we lost in Salisbury is almost the same as what's here, so it's just going to kind of be an offset for us, just to swing the personnel around a little bit. So I'd love to say that we could work exclusively with Amwell. We can keep them in service to do things, use their station. That's all up in the air. That's just unknown at this point. Absolutely unknown at this point.
But I am accurate to say the township, you agree the township committee does not control what happens to them. It's
Absolutely.
your decision at this point,
Yep.
who you
So-
want to be your backup.
The county now will reach out and we'll work with them to iron out all the response plans and all that. But yeah, you just got to give the green light to who you want to do it. That's all.
Yeah, that's in your decision, not mine.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's something that I asked for in conversations all along is if we're going to do this, just me, but my officers, my operations team, we'll sit down and find a model that works best for everything we can possibly take. So we spent a lot of time looking at this. All they do is obviously listening is very, very thorough in managing the staff and managing the timing. So believe me, this is not, we've been talking about this model for a long time, realizing that it would probably happen someday. So again, we're not coming in here. This is not a power takeover whatsoever. This is us trying to provide a service to continue for us to be sustainable and our model to be here for the long run. That is our goal.
So what folks don't know, I think, in general, and we've tried to educate them, is that the EMS in the state of New Jersey is a weird thing. It's not recognized like police and fire, where it's a required entity, right? But it essentially is required, right? Even though the law doesn't say it. Imagine if we had no ambulance here at all.
Right.
So it's hard. So when folks talk about funding, you're not funded from a direct tax revenue like a fire district, which East Amwell has, or the tax base like a police department is funded.
That is
You're
correct.
funded off of donations, billable calls, and a quote unquote donation that you'll get from the township committee that you serve.
Mhm.
Right? I think folks don't understand that now. There's
No,
been
I mean,
talk in the legislature about changing some things, but who knows what's going to happen with that?
There's been discussion, I guess it's on hold again now, but even if the law was passed tomorrow that EMS was essential, we know it would be a long time before that actually amounts to a whole lot as far as funding.
Right.
We've talked, and I've spent hours talking with Rob about this from Amwell. What about a regional model? Where's the funding come from? It's no different. So, I mean, Hunter County is not going to step up and fund that model. The state doesn't have anybody set up to fund that model. So we have to be proactive internally. How are we going to pay for this? And believe me, I was chief through the volunteer days with a very small career staff, and we all busted our hump as volunteers and got the calls done, but there's fewer and fewer and fewer, and we're all aging out of this. I can't work 40 and volunteer 40 hours a week anymore. I just can't. You know what I mean? So we're seeing this change, and by the staffing model, we're able to provide the same service and get that coverage out that we need. And it's hard because even staffing now, it's fairly competitive. The rates continue to go up. The demands are higher. And as you said yourself, so many of our EMTs move on to be paramedics, doctors. Some of my best staff now moves with paramedics that are working. And Austin is a paramedic, and some of our other guys are paramedics, so they're doing both. And so it's rewarding to see that, but it stinks to lose them. And then we have to start over with somebody green and working through the system and so on. So it's the volunteer EMS model run as a business with career staff, and then it's how do we pay for it? That's where the funding really becomes an issue. And I just can't ask somebody to come to work and give me the night because that doesn't work.
It seems
And
not to be working
obviously
anywhere.
You can't, by law, they can't volunteer at work for us. It's the Garcia law, so that's just another thing that fights us. If
Okay.
somebody wanted to do something, they can't if they're hired.
You can ask a question, Joe. Go ahead.
I'd like to ask 3 questions. I'll keep them short. You mentioned something before about
It's important.
qualification levels, like your squad has one status versus Amwell's.
It's not EMT certificate. It's we run under the Department of Health because we do bill for our service. Volunteer squads that don't bill, they don't run under the Department of Health. They run under the First Aid Council. So
can Amwell Valley do calls for you?
they can. If so, they would have to join with us to do that. So if Amwell Valley runs their own ambulance on the road, no, we can't bill for their service. And again, they're all the things that we'll have to work through and iron out. And I don't mean to be cold with this whatsoever. A good chunk of Amwell's members already work for us. So they're doing that. So they won't be able to volunteer for us and work for us at the same time. So their own logistics, we're going to have to iron out.
Okay.
Whether Amwell stays in service doing something, I don't know. And again, that stuff will work out collectively. Again, we can't control what they do. We just now have control of what the emergency calls are in East Amwell.
Second question. If I understood you said that both you're going to be soliciting for contributions to East Amwell going forward?
Correct.
And potentially Amwell Valley would be doing that also?
I don't know.
Okay.
But again,
possibly there could be, residents could receive letters from 2 different squads asking for
Yeah, I mean,
contributions.
again, it does depend on what the decision ends up being with them. Of what they're going to do. So a couple years ago, it was brought to us in one of the meetings that they wanted to do just standbys, not emergency response. Maybe that model's still on the table. I don't know.
That's probably a question more for Township Committee, just thinking ahead.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna, if there's no more like logistical questions and things like that, we'll let Kevin.
Well, I'm sure
go.
this is a new process, so there are going to
Yeah.
be lots of opportunities to provide information and answer residents' questions as we go forward.
I think we're gonna just get here. You're gonna be here till midnight answering like the what if. So it's hard.
And
So
our
we
last
move on,
meeting
Mike?
answered lots of them.
Move on to the next thing, Mike? or-
Yeah, and and for anybody that was new to this situation, we discussed this at length. Our last meeting was what, like 3 hours?
Yeah.
We went into all this, so I'd recommend watching the last meeting. I mean, we answered all these questions, everything. And I'm sure Kevin's great, and so is everybody else. I'm sure he'll answer the questions to you too. But for anybody else watching, we went into like everything previously and stuff. So
All right, I'm gonna turn the. You welcome to talk offline, Kevin, with these folks.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna turn the page because I have a lot of things to go through tonight. I know this is important, and
Kevin, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
and for
thanks,
answering
Kevin.
some
Thank
questions.
you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
and everybody
it.
else
Thank
out there.
Good luck.
thank
Thanks.
Austin for whoever gets to talk to Austin. Thank him for those quick statistics. All right. So we're closing out of this conversation, and we're moving on to item number 13.
Mm-hmm.
13?
That's where I'm on 13, and I'm going to be deferring to you shortly.
Well, are we,
That's true.
are we skipping
Ordinance.
by ordinance 2618?
That's
That's
number
right.
13.
That's 13.
Oh, number 13 on my list, ordinance 2618.
Oh, it's
number-
11 on my list. Is there a new one?
We got revised agenda.
Oh,
There's a new agenda?
Yeah,
That's right.
What else is on?
What?
Is there some change? Hold
I
on.
don't know.
You just numerically.
It's changed a little bit. All right, ordinance 2618, number 13 on the latest agenda.
An ordinance amending section 92-86 of the Code of East Amwell Township entitled Prohibited Uses.
All right, Dante, this is obviously the data centers
Yeah,
and things
thanks,
that
Mike.
that's come
Um,
up.
So, we have our ongoing mission of this township committee to make sure that we're keeping it rural. And one of the significant ways to do that is in our planning. So our ordinances that deal with uses that are allowed in the township. So I spoke with with our township planner, and with him I worked up an ordinance that enumerates some particular uses as prohibited, because these are very significant to keep it rural here. And so it essentially is to prohibit, or to clarify in our ordinance, that prohibited our warehouses, distribution centers, data centers, and detention centers. So this will make it expressly clear that those are prohibited uses in the town. And again, this is very important to our residents and for our quality of life, and keep it rural.
All right, I think this is something that we've talked about, and now it's moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
All right, so so you gave your explanation.
So I would like to move it to introduce today.
Okay. Yeah, but I need a motion to introduce 2618 with a public hearing set for September 10th, 2026. Motion by Dante,
Second.
by Al. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Roll call?
Ms. Casper Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Enton,
Yes.
Mr. Nardi,
Yes.
Mayor Dendis.
Yes. All right, item 14 on my agenda is consent agenda. Can I please have a motion to approve resolutions 2616 through 2026-123, and I'm going to be adding 2026-125.
Hold on, I gotta look at this new agenda. What is that?
Round
encompass?
124.
24?
What's
Yeah,
124 and what's
124 became
125?
executive session because
Oh.
it was.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
we
it's
added
okay.
that at the last minute, and then 125 was
Five is-
added after executive
Understood.
session.
Got it.
Yep, gotcha.
So I don't even see
125.
it on the revised agenda. Is there a 125 on it?
125
No,
is the police.
The police
the Sheridan
agreement.
Police.
Is what?
The police agreement.
Okay.
I think we worked out all the language.
Okay.
As of this afternoon.
Okay.
Right. Is that all right to still move?
Two.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Everything was done before, and we did that after. So
Yeah, she printed it, and then I got the final okay from.
it's in your
Frank.
folder. if you
Yeah,
want
no,
to
I'm
put-
sorry, I'm going down. Does anything need to happen based on executive, or nothing? Good? Okay,
No, I don't.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
nothing.
all?
No,
Right.
nothing. That's all taken care of.
okay.
Fair. All right. All right. Can I please have a motion to approve resolutions 20?
I'm sorry, Mike.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to make this more complicated.
It's not.
Have you stated what 2026-125 is?
Well, Linda just said it's the shared services agreement between East Amwell Township and Delaware Township Police.
For traffic
Traffic
services?
enforcement,
Okay.
yes. The thing that we've
Thank you
been,
very much. I
it's
just wanna
been
make
back
sure
and
it's clear.
forth, folks,
Yep.
with the lawyers, let's just
Yep.
say. I
It's
guess.
it's hanging in the back of the room.
Okay.
And there's
Yep.
a copy in your
Mhm.
folder.
Yeah,
if
I
anybody
have it.
wants
I
to
saw
read
it. I'm sorry if you don't
it's
have
fine.
it.
No, I saw it
It's
as
up
well.
there.
I just want to make sure the record's clear of what we're doing, so everyone's
Yeah,
clear.
125 is the final adoption of the resolution authorizing East Amwell to hire Delaware Township police officers on overtime to target specific areas where we have traffic complaints and other complaints. All right. I think that, and it's hanging in the back if anybody needs to see it. Can I please have a motion to approve those resolutions, adding 125? Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Al first, second,
Second.
Bev. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Roll call?
Ms. Casper Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Enton,
Yes.
Mr. Nardi,
Yes.
Mayor Dendis.
Yes. New business. Anybody have any new business?
No.
No. Okay. Old business.
You can skip that. We don't.
Yeah, we don't need that, but you did want to give an update on some of the work?
On my old business, yeah.
That's old
Yeah,
business, right?
So just updates on some of our capital projects. North Hill Road, the improvements, which is being paid all for by a grant we got. That's still with the State Department. They had to review some plans again. So once we get that back, we can move forward. Mountain Road sections 1 and 2. A few meetings ago, we awarded the contract. They were supposed to start work on Monday, but I guess with the storm or weather, they haven't been able to start. So we are waiting for an update of when they are going to start. The shade, as if anybody's been to the park, the pools are in. The actual shade itself has been ordered for fabrication. I'm told it's supposed to come 3 weeks from Monday. Our contact there, Ryan, is looking on expediting that, so hopefully it gets in soon. In regards to the municipal building, on August 24th, we should be starting work on doing the stairs, fixing that, so that's good for everybody. And then once the stairs are done, we are going to move on to the ramp. I'm not sure where the stucco repair
Stucco's
falls.
tomorrow, starting tomorrow.
Thanks,
he was
Linda.
He was here this morning.
Okay, great. So stucco should start tomorrow. And as a reminder, like 2/3 of this money is being paid for by money we got from Turner's office. So that's great.
Senator Shirley Turner.
Shirley Turner was very good to us.
Who
Yes.
at our request gave us an appropriation in the bill, so that's state money that came. So thanks, Jim.
Yeah, thanks for correcting that. And thanks for your work on that, Dante, because I know you did the ask. And then I'm going to kick it over to you, Mike, if you want to talk about the tennis courts and also about the signage in town for near the railroad.
Yeah. So, yeah, appreciate that. Everyone that lives in the village area obviously knows that railroad bridge gets hit. I don't know how many times a month now, but a lot.
Too much.
I did get a number from the state police. I thought I shared that. I forget how many times they had it in the last 5 years. It's a lot. I spoke to the county. They're going to add more signage. That's the best they can do at this point. Resident had asked about those low-hanging chains to tell you how, this if your car hits this chain, then obviously you're going to hit the bridge. They're unable to do that because of the speed of the road. So I asked them if they could send that request to engineering to lower the speed of the road. So they're going to try to do an engineering study on that. I made the request. We'll see what happens. But you are going to see new signage over there. There's quite a bit of signage there. Anybody that sees it now, I can't seem to explain from talking to folks that have lived around that area forever. Something must have changed with like the truck GPSs that they're taking these folks down that road for that bridge. I don't have a fact on that, but that seems to make sense because you could use your iPhone and that'll take you anywhere, but if it won't necessarily tell you the heights of bridges. So you have to have certain software for that. That's the best guess that anybody can come up with is that these trucks aren't using proper GPS because although the bridge gets hit, not nowhere near as much as it seems to be getting hit lately. And it seems to be most of the people are looking for Route 78. I'm not Google Maps, but I know a better way to get to Route 78 than 579, right? So I would go a different way if I was driving a truck. So you're going to see more signage. The county needed our permission to put it up because they were concerned about folks, what they call sign pollution. Like too much yellow signs gets to be annoying too and doesn't look nice. There's got to be a balance between.
How about a red flashing sign then? It would be totally different and it would be more notice.
I don't even know what to say sometimes, when you see what looks like stupidity, but it's
before it, and they have like.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
That's what Mike tried to get them to do, and
They can't do it because
that.
of the speed. So I guess the state has regulations on everything. And when a
Yeah.
road is over a certain speed, you can't have these hanging chains. So they're send it to county engineering, let them review it if they could lower the speed limit.
Yeah, but it's a county road, and they set the
Yeah, I
speed
know.
limit, right?
I
So
know.
you
But I
can't
think you
use
set
your
it by
own
parameters,
reasoning
so,
for
yeah.
saying why you can't do it.
I know.
I don't, look, I just work here.
No, I'm not criticizing you. I'm saying
I
the
don't know.
logic of it's hard.
I know, but I
You
guess.
could see if the speed
I know.
limit is too fast and the chains are hanging down and the truck's too tall, it's gonna whack the windshield and break the windshield.
I'm not sure where they
Flat
hang
out.
to, if it's the roof of the truck. The only one I know of is on Dayton Road
Yeah.
off of
Yes.
South Main Street, and that's an even lower bridge. I think that's like 8, 9 or something, 10 feet. It's pretty low.
But the speed limit's like 15,
It's, well, yeah, I mean, sure.
and you can't go fast because
No, you'll do the
Coming
Dukes of
off the
Hazzard
truck.
over that bridge, so you can't do
Now
that.
you're dating yourself.
You weren't even born when that came out, were you? Jenna mentioned about the tennis courts. The tennis courts are plugging along. Anybody that's ever done construction knows about delays. We got the base court down. The base course, I'm sorry. The base of the court is down. They got to make some corrections to it. Hopefully soon. The weather, it seems like it's rained a lot this summer. So that seems to push everything back. And for the rain garden, they're cleaning up the rain garden for folks that are interested in that. They're coming up with a plan to get rid of mugwort. I've heard a lot about mugwort all summer. I'm almost becoming an expert on mugwort. So there's a plan to clean that up. They got a grant. The Environmental Commission worked hard, got a grant. So they're going to try to clean that rain garden up, but they were going to tarp it, but now it might need something stronger than tarp. So I invited the chair tonight, but she got tied up. She sent me a text. She couldn't make it. She was going to explain more, but when I get some more information on that, I'll share it. I do. One of the things I continue to hear about too is like communication. For folks, the best thing to do is I say sign up with Linda's text message system, email system, and then follow the township Facebook page, because I continually try to put updates on what's going on in town on the township Facebook page. It seems to get a lot of traction. I think we've doubled the viewership in a year, so I think that's working. That, I consider that old business because it's something that's been going on forever. All right, so we talked about all of our projects we're doing. We talked about the tennis courts. We talked about the shade, rain garden. You talked about Mountain Road, right? That's an active paving. All right, moving on to item number 17. Oh, I don't need to do an all in favor because we didn't do anything. Approval of bills. Can I please have a motion to approve August 13, 2026 bills of the evening?
So moved.
Jenna, and
Second?
nobody wants to approve bills, right?
Yeah.
Like it's your mom.
It's always so much fun.
It's like my wife at a restaurant. She's like, oh, she's got short arms. All right.
Ms.
No.
Castor Bloom?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Enton?
yes.
Mr. Nardi?
Yes.
Mayor Dindus?
Yes. All right. Approval of administrative reports. Can I please have a motion to approve the administrative reports?
So moved.
Al?
Second?
Bev? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And hopefully, Andrea, that is where we will start to see a zoning report, I think. Is that where you would put that or no?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well,
Yep.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
And post it on the website.
Where was the resolution for the zoning officer? That's on here?
Consent.
That was in
It's on the
Oh,
consent.
consent, okay, all right, I didn't pull it, okay. We talked,
item 17 or 21.
okay, yeah, all right. It was all on the consent, all right. All right, and you'll notify him tomorrow? Or I will?
Whichever way. I'm not here tomorrow, but
I'll take care
I
of that.
can do it
All right.
if you'd like me to.
That is, what am I going through here? All right.
Correspondence, open.
All right, this meeting is now open to the public. Anyone? All right, Candy, come up first. I'll give you, you can obviously come back up, Francis, but Candy's hand went up a little quicker.
Candy Wiggum, East Amwell. Do we currently have a zoning officer still?
We do.
Yeah.
And how long is it gonna take, do you think, to get a new one?
Well, we hired somebody as of tonight.
Okay,
We're hoping.
so that was for the hiring.
Yes, the plan is it's
Super.
gonna train with her. at least Tuesday. I'm hoping for more, but I think Tammy's eager to move on.
All right.
So
So people who have zoning requests are
there
coming in
shouldn't
and
be
getting
any.
it responded to.
I'm hoping that there's no delay in that. I'm hoping that it just continues.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Hopefully that helps.
And our zoning officer has some municipal experience and
Yes.
everything. I mean, it's not.
Candy, the person that we're onboarding comes from government, so he knows his way around government. So hopefully that'll expedite the process. All right, go ahead, Francis. You had some. Go ahead.
When you talk to the county about chains or something for that, remind them that there is a precedent 15 years ago, or maybe it's 20 now, when the Wurtsville Road bridges were going to be superhighways. We came to a public-private solution that by lowering the speed limit 5 miles over there by the golf course bridge, that a little girl didn't lose the whole front of her yard. And that was enough to meet the engineering, and all of the freeholders who were out there for that public meeting with a whole bunch of local citizens and a doll on top of a ladder for how horrible it was going to be, committed themselves to working with the community and the township. I know there's also been discussions in the past about a blinking light or a slowing down at Toad Lane and 579. There is a blind curve approaching that bridge in the one direction. So slowing traffic down, even if it involved a speed bump or something, there are a lot of options. And there is a precedent, and Wurtsville Road was a county road, and it had all of that stuff. And we even had SHPA on board with doing that. And the fact that that train station is an historic structure, and the bridge probably as well, that is being damaged and endangered by the lack of action, can be a compelling argument to try to bring in. You might want to talk to Dave Harding about somebody reaching out to see if some protections along the line would be possible. And I think that there'd be a whole lot of local community support for it. The other question I have is your agreement with Delaware Township for targeted areas for police coverage. Does that include the Valley or Wurtsville Road, or is that only just here in the village?
No, it'll be wherever there are complaints.
Well, there are a few of us out on Wurtsville Road, but there's a whole lot of people who pop wheelies by me and speed up there going, I've got a nice hill, so you can be all macho and pop a wheelie up that hill and the curve and things like that, and there's no place for the bicyclists to go. So it'd be really nice to see some folks out of the village or on 202 to come out to some of the more obscure parts of East Amwell. And my last question is, I saw under number 14 as part of your consent agenda, a resolution for the annual report and a resolution approving the corrective action plan. Done a few CAPAs in my life. So what was the audit result? Is that publicly available? And what is the CAPA plan?
It's back there, right?
The corrective action plan is posted with the resolution on the wall.
I'm 4'11" and shrinking.
Okay.
Having stuff up there, or especially when I have to straddle a table, isn't necessarily going to get there.
I'll grab it for you.
All right, or things in that
And
effect.
it's on the website too.
Can you at least somebody give me a Cliff Notes version?
Yeah, we'll go over some of it.
Okay, and the last thing is, if I provide a flyer for the missing rebel, the little wiener dog, would it be possible to post it on the township website? Because visibility is key, and I don't know how long he can survive out there. So
Yeah.
anything that gets attention,
Yeah.
Do you have the
Okay.
flyer with you? I'll do it right
I'll
after
get it
this.
from the person who was doing it, and it'll get sent to you tomorrow, or else I'll do one.
Okay.
He's cute,
Yes.
and his his uncle misses
Is it?
him
Yeah, it's already
desperately.
on the
Okay,
bulletin
it's on the
board.
bulletin board. I'll get it off of there and I'll.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll put that out there. Anybody else from the public? All right, seeing there are no further comments, I'd like to close the meeting to the public without objection. All right, so a couple things to address that came up in public comment. Jenna, do you want to briefly cover the audit?
Yeah, I mean, so she's not paying attention now, but yeah, we did the audit, and there was a corrective action plan, which is pretty common. We changed our tax software, so there was a little bit of an issue with the accounting back and forth. That way, money's there, everything's fine. It was just a glitch with the two software switching over, and we're switching taxes over to Edmunds, so the whole town can run on Edmunds, so everybody's connected that way. And then the other corrective action plan was just taking better notes when it came to the grants. The issue is we've got a lot of grants and a lot of money this year. And anybody that deals with grants knows that they come in all different forms. We've got them from different organizations. Some grants they give us right away. Some we get reimbursed for. Some they'll give it to us when we award the contract. They'll give us like 50% and we have to put in 25%. So there's a lot coming in this year and a lot of going different ways. So they just gave us some recommendations of how to, make that a little neater and everything. So that's basically what it was.
So for the 4 years that I've been here reviewing those audits, I've sat in on every one of them. I think East Amwell does a pretty good job. According to the folks that do our audit, I think we have 3 recommendations.
Yeah, so we have 3 recommendations.
They tell stories about towns having hundreds that never get fixed. They go on and on and on. As far as I know, that we haven't had the same problem come up 2 years in a row, which is good. That's the reason you have an audit, right? They find something they don't like, our folks fix it. So I left feeling, okay, yeah, we could fix something, but I felt pretty good about it. The short answer on the patrols, we get complaints about speeding all the time, other traffic violations. It's not going to just be the village, and probably whenever you think of the village, I just think of the Old York Road part. Seems to be we get a lot of complaints, but Wurtsville Road is a road that is already on the state police list. Manners Road is on the state police list, and others. I didn't memorize them all, but we'll give Delaware Township a list of roads, and hopefully they can control some of these complaints that we get. It's not to have a car drive up and down 202 from the Lambertville border to the Raritan border. I think there's plenty of coverage out there. It's for our township roads mainly, and some county roads that seem to get some high speeds on them that we hear about. Jason still has the speed cameras out there. We review that data. I see speeding, but I don't necessarily see numbers like off the charts. And sometimes when you do see a number that's off the chart, could be an emergency vehicle going somewhere. Not to say that it couldn't be a motorcycle too, but it's most likely, in my experience, it's an emergency vehicle going somewhere. So when it's really super high. And that's really all I have tonight. Anybody else have anything else? Nothing, folks? Okay. There being no further business, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Al?
Second?
Al and Bev want to get out of here?
Yep.
And carried unanimously to adjourn the meeting at...
Aye.
There's no aye.
Well, you can't.
All in favor? I gotta
Aye.
adjourn it at 8:20.
4.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. We're going home.
My daughter's super pregnant and
Oh, boy.
Oh, congratulations. All right, good luck.
Go ahead.
should have been last Friday.
Oh.
The due date's tomorrow. They told her we're going to do